Welcome to RHTV. My name is Ayabami, and today on my left we have
Julieta.
On my right we have
Timmy.
And as our special guest today we have
Anthony Williams.
Thank you for joining us. So before we start, I'd just like to ask a couple questions about what you do. Just introduce yourselves to the people that don't know who you are and what you do, basically.
I'm a regional director for education. I work for the Oasis Community Learning Trust, and that role involves schools that are in London and the South East, and I cover those in terms of line managing those schools and how they do performance and supporting them in that role.
So you're basically like the head teacher of everything in Oasis that goes on.
Well, I wouldn't go that far, but the schools that are in the South East and London, they're under my they're on my patch.
Okay. So, first, what we're going to start with an icebreaker that we normally start with. We're going to go around the table. But obviously, as a special guest, we're going to ask you first. So, what superpower would you have, and why would you have that superpower?
Oh, superpower. I would probably say the power to... where you can see through things.
Okay.
Like if you could see through...
walls
and stuff like that.
I
Do you know
hear
what I
it.
mean?
Any reason, or just because it's cool?
I just because it's cool. Like when you were little, you'd watch
Yeah,
Superman,
I hear it.
and he had that X-ray vision. You could see through stuff. Do you know what I mean? It's just cool.
All right. So Timmy, what would your superpower be?
Superpower. That's a good question. I say reading minds. But
would you not
That's scary.
Exactly? Would you not be offended? Say if you heard somebody and they said something rude about you, would you not feel some type of way?
yeah, but sometimes I feel like it's better to know the truth than live behind lies or whatever.
Okay. Smart. I like that. Intellectual. Julia, what about you?
I would say time travel. I feel like
That's a good
the
one.
ability to go to the future and the past.
Okay.
I feel like being able to see the past and what happened and seeing the truth, and then also being able to change the past.
Okay, cool. Me personally, I've always said this one, but I think invisibility. Because one, I'm just lazy. And two, it's just cool. People can't see me. I'm lurking. You don't know I'm there. So, yeah. Second question for you, Anthony, is what would you do with £1 million and why?
This isn't a clever answer. This is an honest answer.
Okay, we like honesty there, so
I
go
would.
ahead.
I think the majority of it I would give away.
That's
The majority. Other than doing the bits and pieces like you do for family. And going to close friends and that, but I think the majority of it I'd give to charities or good causes, really, because you just get a real sense of fulfillment when you're able to do stuff like that. But I would keep some to myself because I want to go obviously travel the world.
Standard is standard. What about you, Timmy?
1 million. I'm gonna spend it horribly. I know. Just anything I want, I'll buy it. But I think I have to put some aside for my future, like college, university, all that stuff, because that stuff isn't cheap. But I would like to say I'll give it away, but I think I'll be harder than it actually is.
Yeah. What about you, Julia?
Definitely saving quite a big majority of it. Spending, I'm not going to spend all of it, but quite a lot. And then the rest, I don't know. I feel like I'll just have to see what I'd want to do with it. Not obviously just save it all and see where, I would go.
I feel like I'm on along the lines with you guys. I'd save it, for college, for all of that type of stuff, just to make sure that my future's secure. And then the rest of it, clothes, shoes,
all of the.
I want some Jordans, let's not lie here, but yeah, that's pretty much it. Just shoes and clothes. Last icebreaker question is quite simple, but what did you have for breakfast today?
I don't do breakfast, my love.
Me neither, but it's okay.
I don't do breakfast. So
it was an ideal breakfast then.
An ideal one.
Yeah.
I do like a pain de chocolat.
Pain de chocolat, I love them. They actually.
What is a pain de chocolat?
It's a French thing. It's not a croissant, but it's like
with chocolate in it. It's like
a croissant with chocolate.
With chocolate in the middle.
But it's not shaped like a croissant.
Oh,
to me,
but that's the key because it's not shaped like one.
Yeah. But
yeah.
I like mine with the powdered sugar on top. It's nice. What about you, Timmy? what did you have for breakfast? If you didn't have breakfast, then I
I'm not a breakfast person either, but
Okay.
probably just something simple like cereal.
What type of cereal?
Even Weetabix, I don't mind
Weetabix.
No, don't hate.
don't mind
Weetabix,
Weetabix.
sugar, warm milk, buff. They taste
Do you
good.
guys do warm your
They-
milk?
I like warm milk.
I like warm milk as well, but
Okay,
everybody
good.
likes to
They
be like
like
controversial
cold,
about
literally.
it.
No,
Like,
See, look at all the way they look at Jocelyn. Though. She sees a cold milk girl. I like warm milk.
warm milk is best.
You guys like warm milk or cold milk?
They're not-
Cold. Okay.
Um,
Me probably. I was gonna say cereal. I don't know why I'm calling you basic then, because I'd have cereal as well. But like, I don't really like Cocoa Pops. It'd probably be like Rice Krispies or Weetabix
Yeah.
or Cheerios.
I'd like fruit. I don't like milk, so I feel like
Okay.
fruit because I don't like milk. Yeah.
All right. Oh yeah, that's fair.
Now the question is, what's the best advice you've ever received?
Best advice I've ever received. And can that be? Is that really general or educationally
general.
based? Or
That's just general.
wow. I think the best advice I've ever received, probably from my mum.
Oh.
Probably from my mum, and it's an old Jamaican saying.
You're Jamaican.
My parents, yeah.
Oh,
So it's an old Jamaican saying, and she used to say, "Patient man ride donkey." And when you're little, you don't really know what, but it's probably one of the truest things that I've kind of kept to, which is sometimes, a donkey, it isn't flash. You're not going to get there very quickly, but it will get you there. So it was basically a kind of saying about being patient. Being patient, stay in the course, and you should get the outcome you desire.
What about you guys?
I feel like advice-wise, I've been told a lot, but I feel like sometimes it just goes through one ear and comes out the other. I don't really know. Like, I feel like I've received advice and I've taken it, but not off the top of my head.
Yeah. I feel like mine, like you said, is from my mum. But, like, obviously I'm Nigerian, innit? So I'm going to say it in Yoruba first and I'm going to translate it. But she says something along the lines of, Masare, which means, like, don't be quick to live your life. Like, let it go by you slowly. Don't be quick to rush it or any of it. Because at the end of the day, I'm a child. Like, I still got a lot of life to live. So she just says Masare, so not to rush with it. Be calm and cool and collected. Especially because I'm somebody that I'm very fast with everything I do, like speaking, everything. So she just told me to slow down and be calm, cool, and collected. But yeah, what about you, to me?
Like Juliet said, I can't really think of anything on the top of my head. Like, yeah, I've received advice before, but nothing's really stuck with me, I guess.
It's cool though. It's cool.
All right. First question. Do you think you've made an impact with the community that you work with?
Yeah, I'd say I think I have. I've been fortunate enough to be a Croydon boy, born and bred. So
You love
When-
it.
nursery, primary school, secondary school,
What school
college.
did you go?
What secondary school? St Mary's.
Oh.
Oh.
Say no more. Yeah, St Mary's college. In actual fact, the only time that I left Croydon was when I went to uni, and then came back, and when I started teaching, taught in Croydon schools for about 12 years. So I think over that period of time, I think I've educated, taught quite a few, and I think what's lovely is now when I see some of those, well, they're not even young people anymore, they're big people, they're married, they've got families now, and I see them and they're still, "You're right, Mr. Williams, you're right." So they're big people, 20s, 30s, some of them. So yeah, and we can, we still have lovely, respectful conversations, and yeah, even I saw one on Sunday morning in his car, and and they'll just hail you up. "You're right, sir," and I'm shocked that you remember me. "God forget you, Mr. Williams." Okay. So yeah, that's lovely.
I feel like with jobs like that, though, it comes like, not naturally, but in a sense that you know that you're a good teacher if the students remember you. Because I feel like for me, a lot of teachers I won't forget, and I feel like as one of them. So if we know that a student hasn't forgot you, it just means you're doing something great in their life, or
So
you have done something great in their life.
Did you know that you wanted to become a teacher? Was that like the career path that you were headed towards?
Absolutely not.
Oh.
So what was you? What path was you on?
Absolutely not. I couldn't think of anything. So when I left school, I just love cars. So so all I wanted to do was be involved.
Favorite car.
Favourite car. I think anything in the Audi range. I'm an Audi man. I like Audis.
Audis are nice.
Not that I'm just saying the flashy one, but I just like them, how they drive.
Yeah.
But yeah, never to be couldn't have been further from the truth. And I think probably because I was a bit of a lad. I was. Do you know what I mean? I weren't off key at school. But I was definitely one of them. If something was happening, I'd be there or thereabouts.
Yeah. Okay.
I was always one of them, and just pulled out when it was starting to go left. But no, I didn't want to be a teacher, and I think my mum laughed at me when I said, "Mum, I might be a teacher." She burst out laughing. She said, "She goes, you." I said, "Yeah, I think I might have a go, Mum." She said, "And how bad you were at school." I was like, "Oh." But then even when I started, and then the career progression, like to be a senior leader, never even dreamed of doing stuff like that.
I feel like with stuff like that, it's like you can never tell, because even me, I've said before that I wanted to go into the entertainment industry, but I'm looking at it now and it's like I don't know if that's the path for me. But what will come, and what will go. So I feel like it's just a thing of the time and when, right place, wrong
I feel
time.
like no
maybe.
teacher actually says that they wanted to become a teacher.
Literally.
Like they just ended up there in life. It's a bit
But
crazy.
it is crazy though, because it's like, damn, future be flying, because you never know what's going to happen in the future. It's only up to when it comes. But yeah. So the next question that we have for you is, how did you get to the current position that you are as regional director?
How did I get there? Well, that's kind of what I said before. It was so the pathway into teaching. I said I kind of stumbled on it anyway because I was out of a job, and I thought I'm just going to do something different. I kind of said I don't want to work for anybody anymore, and if I don't work for anybody, I want to do something where I'm kind of giving back a bit more. So that's the teacher thing, and then I don't know. I just seemed to get, I won't say promotions, but it wasn't as if I ever went like really like looking for it. I never sucked up to like leadership or anything like that, or like mixed with. I've just always did my own thing. I just did my own thing, and so I was only a teacher. I say only a teacher, but I was a main scale teacher. That's all my responsibility. I think I was made a head of department in about 1 year. Yeah, 1 year.
Props
then
to you.
I got made a head of department, business studies and IT, and then I did that for a couple of years. And then my dream job, which I did want to do, was I wanted to be a head of year. That was like my dream job because I saw someone who did it, and I think I was saying this to somebody the other day. No matter how old you are, I do think that people can have a really big influence on you and role model. Because I was in my mid-20s then, and I saw this guy do the head of year role. Never forgetting Paul Williams, and I was like, I saw this man in action, and I was like, wow, you're the the coolest brother that I know. He was brilliant. He never flapped. He was really calm. The kids loved him. The staff loved him. And I'm thinking, and that was it. When I saw that, I'm like, I want to do what that guy did. And so yeah, head of year, and I did it. I got a head of year job, and I absolutely did. Arguably the best job I've had. I loved. They were my babies. I called them my babies. Everybody knew they were my babies. Loved it, and I loved the job so much that I said, you know what? You know when you do it, you stay with them for 5 years, and then you go again. I just said, no, I'm not. I said I can't. I haven't got that. I won't ever have that same connection with another year group.
Yeah.
So,
what year group was it like at the time?
Did you start from year 7?
Oh yeah, from 7 to 11. Yeah,
That's actually key.
That's why I said I can't do this. I had such a connection with that year group, and so I did that. Then I got my first senior leadership job when that ended. So I was an assistant head. Again, I didn't do that for very long. Maybe about 3 years I did that. Then I got a deputy role, and that was probably as high as I wanted to go. I didn't want to go because I just what I always saw was head teachers, man. You just dealt with problems. I did. I just thought
It's
I did.
true, though.
I was in it, and I was thinking, who would want to do that job in their right mind? You got when the kids kick off, it's you. When the parents kick off, it's you. You just seem to be dealing with all the worst parts of being in a school. So I'm like, nah, that never for me. And so the ideal role for me was a deputy, because a deputy, I'm like, you're running things because you got the clout, you get to run the school, but you don't have to deal with all the drama.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's got to be the best job.
Probably
So I did the deputy role, but I said I only did it for a couple of years again, and then somebody said you should try and be I said nah. And anyway, long story short, I got my headship. I was a head teacher for 8 years. Absolutely loved it.
What school were you the head at?
I was at head of a school. My first headship was one in Suffolk, Felixstowe. Loved it. So it was outside of London, but it was a fantastic experience. I absolutely loved it. And then my second headship was at Oasis, was at Enfield in North London, near Tottenham. And it's the best job in the world. Absolutely the best job in the world. Brilliant.
What would you say was your toughest challenge as like a head teacher?
I'd probably say it is, and I think most head teachers will say it's the one of the worst decisions is when you have to permanently exclude a child. That's got to be the worst, because you never want to do it really. But sometimes it's the best for the child. It's the best for the rest of the school. You know, there's sometimes a bigger picture, and then equally one of the worst things you have to deal with as a head, which I've had to and other heads have to, is when you lose a young person in your school. That's tough. So you kind of realise then that your job is much bigger than you, because it's a whole school community. It's people outside, it's the families, it's a load of stuff. So those are the couple of times which I think inspections are quite tough as well.
Yeah.
When Ofsted come, do you know what I mean?
And the schools make it seem like police are coming for interrogation, you know. My school be like, they make a whole assembly the day before, the week before. Guys, Ofsted is coming so and so and so. Make sure everybody's patterning
spitting
up
out
in
your school
every,
right now.
literally. Oh.
Yeah.
Right.
Can I just say, just to balance it, what you said is probably happens more often than not.
Yeah.
But I just never used to play like that. I'm like, if they're coming, you're going to see what you see. I never prep the kids. We just said, you know what, we have visitors coming in. These are just another set of visitors. What we do well, and what we need to do better, we'll do better.
All right. Third question. What influenced you to become a regional director?
No, because I didn't want to do it.
Yes.
To be totally honest, I didn't want to do it because, as I said before, I was ahead. I loved it. I had no intention of doing anything else. I was going to do that until I retired. And what happened? My boss got a promotion and left. Was leaving, and the CEO and the national director just kept bugging me, saying, Do you want to go for her job? Do you want to take her job? And I'm like, nah, you're good, man. I said, no, I'm all right. I said, no, I'm
totally good.
I'm like, no, you're good. And then they kept phoning me and emailing me, and then I said, maybe. And then I said, do you know what? And then I kind of thought, you know what? You got nothing to lose. So I kind of went for the interview, and the interview was quite tough. But I think which I have shared this. I think one of the things that really provoked me, I think that's the right word, to change in my mind was, I was like, no, I'm just gonna stay here. I love my school. I'm just gonna do what I'm gonna do. And then something said to me, Anthony, it was a God-led thing, and something said to me, Anthony, you're from the ends. You are a Croydon boy, born and bred, and you have the opportunity to go into a role that people like you don't really ever get into. So at the very least, give it a go and see what happens. And then, as I say, they gave me the job.
You said you've grown up in Croydon. Like, have you seen it change? Like, how much has it changed from back when you were there?
I'm still there now. I still live in Croydon. But how's it changed? Oh man, I mean, I'm gonna sound like a proper old man. You're not gonna start rolling around. So here we go, the good old days. But I mean, I'm I grew up at Broad Green, which is like right on that border of Croydon and Thornton Heath,
Oh, okay.
the main road near London Road, and you could just play about. You could just, do you know what I mean? It was such nobody worried about. I know it sounds like proper old. You sound like a proper fogey, Anthony, but it was nobody worried about stuff. Like you came home from school, you might have to do your little chores and that, and then bang, you were out. And like now, this time of the year was just it was the best because summer, and it was, you know, I mean, I clocked it yesterday. It didn't start getting like dark until about 10:15. And you go out and that's it. Your parents never worry. And whether you was in like your road or a few roads down, you were just gone and you just knew what time to come back. Yeah. Holiday time, you go missing. So your parents wouldn't see you. But nobody worried about anything. And, you know, your next door neighbours and down the road. And that is true. Your parents probably told you this, that anybody could tell you off.
Yeah,
This thing of like, you mad? Whether they knew you or they didn't know you, anybody could pull you up, and you.
So it was very like community-wise.
100%, yeah, 100%.
So you don't. So it's regarding like the safety things. You don't feel like knife crime and like how it is now. It wasn't as like serious back then.
It didn't exist. I can't even say it wasn't, but it just didn't exist. And I think that's for the majority of areas. And then obviously as the time passes, I think as we got like to the 90s, 2000s and so on, and things, obviously society changed, things have changed and so on. More people, more densely populated, bit more social challenges, economic challenges, social challenges. It's all kind of, you know, but yeah. And cars, I remember seeing a really old photo when I was little, and there was no cars on the road. And I was showing my sisters, there's like 6 of us, and I was showing them. I said, look, there's about 3 cars on the road, just stuff like that, little stuff. But I mean, they were great times. Absolutely loved them.
They were describing it. It seems like they were. It seems like they were. It seems like you enjoyed it.
Yeah, brilliant times.
So our next question for you is quite the opposite of what we just discussed. But as a regional director, like, tell us about your day to day. Like, what does it consist of?
Well, I've got the schools that I have responsibility for, and I will schedule when I'll go into them. I go into them mainly like once a week, and then once a week I'll set aside to do all the other admin stuff that I need to do. So the role really is kind of in 3 parts. So you're in charge of school performance, or we call it school improvement. So how well the schools do, I have accountability for that. So I obviously support the head teacher, the leadership teams and all that kind of stuff. So that's the school improvement stuff. And then you've got something which is called governance and compliance. So all the things that a school has to do by law or in line with the DFE. Yeah. So again, that's something that I've got responsibility for, because we don't have like a board of governors. So I'm the governor for those schools as well. And then there's what we call our national responsibility. So we'll have a responsibility that covers so even though I'm in London, my national responsibility covers everything in every academy in the country. And mine is for careers and sixth form provision. So that's basically how the role's set up. The governance side has to be done, but that's the bit I like the least. But you got to do it. You got to chair panels, like for grievances, disciplinaries, complaints. So you do all that, and then the bit I love the most is the school improvement, because that's what lets me get back into schools, and I can, do you know what I mean? I'm really blessed and fortunate because I've got really good relationships with my head teachers. So I go in and I chat with them, and they're able to just like offload. Do you know what I mean? With stuff that's happening and so on, and the other senior leaders, the deputies, the assistants, their thingies, and the students. Yeah. So you get to know them, even though I'm only there once a week. But as the terms have gone, and they've got to know me, and I've got to know them, and so yeah, that's the bit I like the most, is the school improvement stuff.
Is there any gaps in the school system that you would change, and why?
Gaps, yeah. I think it's partly happening now. We're starting one of these. Is I think more needs to be done, but more is starting to be done around students who really struggle with mainstream school, who genuinely struggle. That may be because of emotional, physical, psychological needs. That's not to say that they shouldn't have the opportunity to be part of mainstream. That's not what I'm saying. But I think the provision for them should be and can be better. It should be better. Because some young people, for different reasons, can't handle a whole day in the regimented way that school's done.
Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't mean that they can't make brilliant progress, attend well, enjoy school and things. So schools are having to be and needing to be a lot more creative and sensitive and empathetic to how young people interact, learn and thingy. Because, I mean, young people, you guys took a battering with COVID. Big people did, young people did. It took a big toll. And so there's been a lot of resetting. And even though we're, 4 years down the line, there's still a lot of stuff that needs to be addressed.
There was a question, it wasn't really like a question, but I think a lot of the people from Oasis Arena, they were wondering if like there's things that could be done in terms of like well-being days. And more in the sense of my school, they don't do well-being days, but they do like well-being aspects, like things that other students can come to. But Arena was like, some students from Arena were wondering if there could be a well-being day in a sense of like they would go off timetable and just take time to recuperate, like with the school, obviously, in school premises, and recuperate with like their mental health and just have more, I don't know what they were saying, but like fun activities just to do like that can help them interact with people in their school.
Well, as somebody who goes to Oasis Arena,
so.
Okay.
Obviously we have our PSHE lessons, which can like help educate us on like mental health. But I feel like being able to apply like the skills being taught like in PSHE lessons in like real life with the teachers and helping them like see like where we're coming from and how we need to like improve mentally. I feel like as a whole day, just like off timetable would be like very helpful.
You wouldn't be the first, because I know schools that do that. They do wellbeing days within their school, in their curriculum that they've planned. So I think that my kind of advice would be speak to Miss Bell. Speak to Miss Bell and get your student council. I mean, that's what they're there for. Your student body, your student voice. You get them together. You put your proposal together. She's a very good head teacher. She listens. So something positive could well come out of it.
All right.
Now, because we're coming to the end, we've got our checkout question, which is, what do you think is the best piece of advice that you've personally given?
The best piece of advice I've given. I would. Okay, I'm gonna keep it educationally focused, and I'd probably say, and I said this years and years ago, and maybe it's a reflection of my own journey in school and education, but I've always said that the education doesn't guarantee you anything, and it doesn't. I know when people bang on, and I'm saying this, and I've been in education for most of my life, but the really important thing to appreciate and respect about education is that it gives you options. And I think as you go through life, what you kind of get to understand and appreciate is there's nothing worse for me, or one of the worst things, is when your options are limited or people take them away from you. When you can't do what you want to do, when you want to do it, how you want to do it, when you have the freedom and liberty to do so. And so what education does is it gives you options. Because if you're going down one route and you get bored of it, it's not for you, you get frustrated with the qualifications that you have that nobody can ever take away from you, you can go and do that, or then you can go and do that. So when I say to people, when I left school, I was a mechanic, and that's all I wanted to do was just fix cars. And people do say to me, how have you gone from being a mechanic to being a head teacher to now being a regional director? And it was qualifications, because it gave me options. So when things I wanted to do, I had my degree, so I was able to go and teach. And then when I did some other qualifications in there, when I did my qualifications to be a head teacher, when I did my masters, when I did all these things, then gave me options that when people said, do you know, I was able to say, yeah, I can do that. So study hard and get your qualifications that nobody will ever be able to take away from you, because it gives you options. And when you have options, you've got a bit of clout, you've got a bit of power behind you.
All right. So thank you for tuning in, guys, to RHTV. It's been Ayo,
Julieta.
Timmy.
and
And Anthony.
Anthony. So yeah, thank you guys. Thank you for listening.
God bless.